The Soul Redeemer, Chapter 8I, Inside My Mind. What is Monique? The walls of division within Nicole's mind seemed to come down slowly, and there was still some sense of separation. It was such an odd sensation. Nicole knew that the girls were her and she was them, and that their memories and feelings were really hers. But the process of integration was not fast and easy. There was a lot to process and work through, so in the meantime, each girl had their own tastes in food and clothes, and unfortunately, they were almost always complete opposites. Good loved chocolate, but little Nicky hated chocolate. She loved strawberries, which Good despised. Good hated pink, little Nicky's favorite color, and little Nicky hated black, Good's one and only color. With practice, Nicole began not to hear their individual voices so much as just to feel the battle going on within her about what to eat and what to wear. She began to think that maybe this is what it was supposed to be like. Maybe everyone had to ask themselves, what do I feel like today? Do I feel like wearing black, or do I feel like wearing pink, or do I feel like wearing something completely different? The problem was that she felt it all at once, which made decisions practically impossible when she listened to her feelings. She found that compromise helped: black pants, pink shirt, strawberries with chocolate, and she found that sometimes she just had to remind everybody that she was in control and take charge. On this particular day, Nicole stood in front of her closet contemplating what to wear, and she began to realize that she was sensing a different presence. She was seeing her clothes through completely different eyes. She knew what this feeling was, and she said, "Hello, I'm Nicole. Who are you?" Immediately she saw a very pretty young woman wearing a stylish dress with bangle bracelets on her arm. In a French accent, the woman smiled and replied, "Hello, Nicole. I am Monique. I am here to help you put your wardrobe together so that you will be very pretty." Nicole liked her. She never felt very pretty and outgoing, and being Monique gave her confidence. The problem was, it was false confidence. And Jesus brought this up several days later when he asked Nicole why she hadn't brought Monique to the tabernacle to meet him. Nicole hadn't even thought about it because she was feeling so good about this new girl. She didn't seem to have any painful memories or emotions. She was just fun. But Jesus reminded Nicole that he wanted to be a part of everything in her life, and that it was very important for them to come to him together. She knew he was right, so she and Monique entered the tabernacle together, hand in hand. Jesus did not address Monique. He spoke right to Nicole. "Nicole, where did Monique come from?" Nicole hadn't thought about that before. She turned and asked her, and Monique said, "Oh, when you were young, you asked your father what nationality you were. He said you were a little bit of this and a little bit of that, not much of anything, but that your last name was French. You had the impression that French people were beautiful and confident, and because you wanted this, I came to help you." Jesus looked very serious as he said, "Nicole, she is not a part of you. She is built on lies and cannot stay. You have placed false confidence in her that will not stand. I am to be the source of your confidence. Will you give her to me?" Nicole was upset. She was thinking that Jesus was robbing her of happiness, and she surely deserved some after going through so much pain. She had rebellion in her heart, and she looked up into Jesus' eyes. It was like she could see into his heart, and it was breaking. She couldn't stand to hurt him, and his pain caused her to see her rebellion and to remember where it would lead if she held on to it. After a moment of soul-searching, she chose to release Monique to Jesus. He had always placed the girls back inside of her when she had wanted to give them to him in the past. Maybe he would give Monique back as well. Nicole took Monique's hand and led her over to Jesus. She knelt down at Jesus' feet and placed Monique's hand in his. Jesus lovingly touched the top of Nicole's head, then picked Monique up. The floor beside Jesus opened up, and he threw Monique into the pit. Nicole watched in horror as the source of her confidence burst into flames and fell down, down, down. She began to cry, and she ran out of the tabernacle. She couldn't believe that Jesus would be so cruel. For several days she felt sad and mourned over the loss of her friend. On the third day, her real friend Lynn spoke the truth to her and said, "Nicole, stop it. Obviously, she was not a part of you, and if she wasn't a part of you, what do you think she was? Why would Jesus destroy her?" This made Nicole begin to evaluate Monique from a new perspective, and she saw the truth that she hadn't wanted to see before. Nicole dashed into the tabernacle and threw herself into Jesus' arms. "Oh, Jesus, please forgive me for wanting and loving something that was not a part of your kingdom. I don't know what Monique was, but I can see now how I was relying on her instead of you, and I hate to think of the dangerous place she would have led me without your intervention. I might not have even been aware of it until it was too late." Nicole shivered at the thought, then continued, "I do need confidence, though, Jesus. So please help me to be and do whatever you want me to be and do, and I will trust in you to help me." Jesus just held on to Nicole, and the two cried tears of relief together for some minutes. Then Jesus said, "Well, Nicole, the reason why I was able to save you was because you surrendered her to me. Surrender is one of the most important keys in my kingdom, and I hope you will never forget this lesson." I.S. was enraged. He had lost several spirits of death assigned to Nicole through Willie, and now he had just lost another of his powerful pawns. It had been so perfect, too, because Nicole had unknowingly accepted and loved this demon. He called for Mare. "I want a full report on Nicole. You have had ample time to fulfill your function in her life, and I'm not seeing any results." Mare bowed low before this master and said, "You know, my lord, that nothing pleases me more than operating fully within my function and fulfilling your will. Knowing the importance of this case, I have assigned my best minions and have personally been overseeing it myself. We have relentlessly hounded Nicole in her sleep, with many of my best nightmare and night terrors upon her. We have called upon your own succubus spirits as a means of offering comfort in response to the terror in her dreams. Her response is rejection of us, as she immediately calls out to you-know-who, and she's even doing this in her sleep now." I.S. rolled his eyes at Mare's lack of using even a choice name for their enemy. Mare continued, "As you know, my lord, we have also worked with your own incubus spirits, imparting sexual content and desire into her dreams based on what we know of her preferences. They have offered sexual stimulation. It pains me to report that nothing from that angle has worked either. Even though these things are downloaded into her mind, there are several problems. I feel that it's important to tell you that it is not our fault that Nicole has not taken the bait. One of the biggest problems is that there's always a huge warrior standing between Nicole and us. You know that because she belongs to you-know-who, we can not go to her. She must come to us." "Well, why don't you talk her into walking past the offensive hindrance, you stupid spirit?" I.S. demanded. "It cannot stop her from following her own will." "We've tried everything we can think of, my lord," Mare responded, then continued, "Another problem is that Nicole has come to recognize our tactics and actually renounces the dreams and spirits attached to them when she wakes up, so that our sphere of influence, even in her vulnerable sleeping state, is being weakened." Mare took a breath, and in a very quiet, ashamed tone, he said, "And then there's the issue of her smelling us." He flinched ahead of time, already knowing and fearing the wrath of his master. I.S. snorted, "You nincompoop! You were supposed to be cloaked." Mare bowed lower to the ground and said, "We have been, my lord. It seems as though Cantor has been given permission to remove the veil, and you know how strong our stench can be. We haven't even been able to get near her lately because as soon as we do, her fear of fire and sensitivity to the smell of smoke wakes her up immediately, and we have to pull back." It was I.S. who took a deep breath this time. He was seething in anger and frustration as his plans seemed to be thwarted time and again. Well, there was still the stronghold of pain.